In 2023 alone, 13,900 Indian students committed suicide. Now, this number is about 8% of the total suicide deaths in India that year. Now, if this thing doesn't shake you up, then it simply means that we've desensitized ourselves to the point where we don't care about even our young ones now. In our country, there are so many talented kids, with varied capabilities. Some are good at science, some are good at math, some are good at memorizing things, some are good at analytical stuff, some are good at computers, some are good at art, music. Not everybody's the same, right? But in this country, we have an education system that acts like a cookie cutter. So you pick a lane. You either become a doctor, an engineer, or a government employee. And if a kid picks up anything other than these three fields, the society looks at that kid with a lot of scrutiny. Now, forget about art or music. These things don't exist. So many kids with broken dreams and unrealized potential. And I'm pretty sure a lot of these kids stay up late at night and they look out of their windows and wonder what if they had taken the road less traveled. Now, don't get me wrong, society is absolutely essential. It helps us keep order because there are a lot of people in our society who don't commit crimes just because, they're afraid of the repercussions. They don't want to get ostracized by the society or sent to jail. So for that, I think society is important. It is needed even. But then we all know that that's not what's happening here. We can clearly see an overreach. So what your neighbors think and what your relatives think is much more important than what you want or what you believe in. It's crazy. Mental health is already a joke in this place. It's often seen as a character flaw, something that should be hidden from the society because the society, pretty much brings down its boots upon people who are different, neurodivergent. Do you know what kids need? They need reassurance. They need guidance. They need care. They need love. But instead of giving them that, we give them deadlines. We give them scrutiny. We give them threats. Yes, threats. Or if you don't pass this exam, we're going to kick you out of this house. Great. Now, threats come in other forms too. If you don't clear this entrance, your life will be ruined. Now, if you're one such kid who's been told these lies, do not believe that. You should take your career seriously. It's not a laughing matter. But it also doesn't mean that you should always live in fear. It doesn't mean that you should strangle your dreams to death. It's okay if you fail. Try something else. Life doesn't end. We always get second chances. Always. It's fine if you mess up. We all mess up. Every now and then we do that. It's totally fine. So your mental health is much more important than what your neighbors think or what even your extended family thinks. Okay? You got this. Now, this problem isn't just limited to India. This is more like an Asian problem. You'll see similar issues in Japan. You'll see similar issues in Korea. You'll see these issues in China as well. But they have a certain infrastructure. They've built a system in which they can reward their talented kids. We do not have any such system. The best we can do is gaslighting. Kids are the foundation of any country, culture, or civilization. And it's clear that we do not give a crap about that anymore. Corporatization of education is one of the stupidest things we've ever done. Most people cannot afford their children's school fees these days, yet it is pushed everywhere. A lot of the times, these corporate schools, these corporate colleges act like parasites. They especially target people who are semi literate or illiterate. They sell them lofty dreams and then they just extract whatever they can from these people. This reflects the mindset of our society. It becomes like an organism. It's like a Lovecraftian monster, a monster that feeds on our collective fears and insecurities. Suffering is not a competition. What exactly did we get by pushing our kids to these extremes? Did we achieve something? Did we get something out of it? Do we have something to show for it? No. You've seen the recent Galgotia University bullshit, right? Institutions of this country are bringing us shame. And because of these practices, we get nothing but a bunch of scared children. Being an introvert is not a cool thing, guys. It's kind of a weakness. It means that you're not social. Do you know the repercussions of that? People who are social, they're more likely to get promotions. They're more likely to work less and earn more. They're more likely to get out of sticky situations. It's not introversion. It's destruction of confidence from a very young age. Every single child of ours grows up with a dream. And before he even turns into an adult, we crush that dream. We crush it brutally under our boots. We don't even give that kid a chance to fail. Now we have a bunch of kids who memorize everything instead of learning. And by God, are they good at it. The spelling bee contest, have you seen Indian kids? They're good. We should focus more on building things, manufacturing things, like China did, keeping their manufacturing with them, for them. And they've benefited hugely because of that. Indian kids, on the other hand, are just busy mugging everything up. And they memorize things as if their lives depended on it. And by God, do they? I sometimes really wish that it was a blatant exaggeration or a metaphor or something. But it's not, it's reality. That's what their teachers tell them too, instead of making them understand concepts. And now, because of that, we have this weird situation of blind leading the blind. The teachers who are teaching kids today were taught similar bullshit by the teachers who came before them. And this fear of authority has been instilled into us from a very young age. We're told that if you don't follow orders, if you don't do as you're told, you'll lag behind. Other people will step on you and move ahead. But to be honest with you, I'm not exactly a fan of Western parenting either. And I'm especially not a fan of kids abandoning their parents after they grow up. You know, when they need them the most in ripe old age. I think our system is a bit better. But then again, there are many houses where they're treated like garbage. As a kid, did you ever have this misfortune of watching that god awful movie called Bhagwan? That I think should be categorized as emotional blackmail because you're pretty much putting ideas in your kids' minds before they even have these ideas. And if you watch that movie carefully, you'll see that it's almost propaganda. It's almost propaganda. That's how I came to know about this term called gaslighting. I didn't know what it was. So somebody explained what gaslighting was by giving me an example of this cursed movie. Who likes that movie, by the way? Except old people. I don't think they even air that movie anymore. This is how our society keeps us scared, like little children. That's why you see a lot of Indians behave literally like kids. Slowly, people get desensitized to these kind of things. This is how we get people who defend even the most vile and disgusting actions committed by mentally disturbed and lost individuals, sometimes even groups and mobs. Did you guys ever hear of the term cognitive dissonance? Now it's a psychological phenomena where you see something which is contrary to what you believe, yet you don't change your beliefs. It usually works with people who are indoctrinated. For example, let's say there's a flat earther. Now, this person believes that the earth is flat. Now, it doesn't matter what evidence you give to this person, they'll not believe in it. But if you just give them some random, just half baked idea or a proof of a flat earth, they'll be more interested in that. Now, why is that? Because they're more interested in confirming their beliefs rather than having their beliefs challenged. So that is cognitive dissonance. And you can see that in Indians because they have eyes. They see all the problems with their eyes every single day. Yet, when they go online, they outrightly reject everything that they see with their own eyes. That's how bad it is. Have you ever seen like a random video of a foreigner who's visited India and has received the biggest cultural shock of his life? They get mad at that person. It's your fault that your immune system cannot handle the hygiene that we have to offer. What do you expect this guy to do? Now, I'm not saying there are people who don't have ulterior motives. We don't live in a fair world. I'm pretty sure there are propaganda campaigns against us too, because there are powers who want to see us get destroyed, and we're pretty much headed in that direction as well. But what do you want this guy to do? Like, do you want this guy to put on blinds on his eyes, not look around, travel like 8 to 10 kilometers and reach this oasis that you created, this IT oasis with big flashy buildings? This foreigner will watch that and broadcast it to the world and claim that we've arrived on the global stage as if they don't have their own shiny buildings back home. What are you talking about? Have you completely lost it? Do you not have eyes? Don't you don't you see these things every day with your own eyes? Right now in history, we're at this point where We've mastered this art of gaslighting everyone, including ourselves. It's not gonna end well. So, if we really have a problem with how the world views us these days, why don't we change? We just have to fix one thing. We just have to keep our streets clean. That's it. Having basic human civic sense. Nothing too crazy. We don't have to land on Mars. If we just do that, half of our criticism will disappear. Now, the remaining half is a different thing. Now, that is because of geopolitics, that is also because of racism, because of our foreign policy as well. That may not change, but 50% of it is definitely going to change. And that is doable. Some localities have done it. Look at Northeast, they've done it. Look at Ladakh, they've done it. And people don't want to leave these places alone either. They just want to travel to these places and turn these places into filth as well. I don't know what we can do about these kind of people. I seriously have no idea. This behavior reminds me of a story. There was a kid with an abusive father. This father would return home every day and beat up his wife and his kid. And every day when he'd go to school, his teachers would notice that, he has bruises on his face, on his body. And they'd ask him what happened. And this kid would lie every single time. I fell from the stairs. I bumped my head into the wall. My dog bit me. Something or the other, whatever. Why do you think this kid must be doing this? Instead of calling upon authorities, instead of making noise, his mother could die. His mother could die. He could save his mother. But instead of doing that, he's more concerned about what the society is going to think about his family. So, what this means is this kid values what the society has to say about him and his family way more than the very life of his own mother and his very own life, too. Do you know that 27% of our population lives below the poverty line? Do you know that more than 80% of our population earn less than $6 a day? Now, I'm not saying there hasn't been any improvement in this sector, but the improvement is minuscule, an exaggeration. Now, for a country that claims to be the fastest economy in the world, which it is, and also one of the largest economies in the world, again, which it is, you're supposed to do better than this. The per capita PPP is heartbreaking. You constantly hear about GDP, right? But what they never mention is GDP PPP, purchasing power parity. No mention of that. That gives you the real idea of where you stand as an economy, how it reflects in the society, how much it has changed the life of an average Indian. These numbers are important, and these numbers are hidden on purpose. A lot of countries do that. Politicians. Every country has politicians, brother. Maybe this generation will survive this volatile geopolitical situation that can at any moment escalate into World War III. But the future generation, it's going to suffer a lot. This very fear of society is also one of the reasons why we have these lavish weddings that most Indians cannot afford. But every Indian wants a lavish wedding. Isn't it insane? My dad would always give me this advice that don't spend the money you don't have. Now I learned my lesson the hard way, but not everybody has to do that, right? Whom are you trying to impress? Your neighbors? Your relatives? They don't give a shit. They'll forget about it. They won't even remember what they ate at your wedding.
Hey, now before you leave, can you just drop a like and leave a comment? So that's going to help my channel grow a bit. It's going to help with the algorithm and stuff. I'd really appreciate it if you did that.